Hey guys, what's up? Brandon here, and welcome to the Lake Series. The whole purpose of this Lake Series is to, if you're new to Tulsa or you're new to fishing or just want to know more about the lakes in the area, that's what it's designed to do. So let's get into this week's lake. Okay, this is Birch Lake. It is a 1,100 acre lake. It's located just kind of northwest of Tulsa, about a 50-minute to an hour drive, depending on where you're located. This lake is located just south of Barnesville. The river source for this lake, you can see the dam here, it's actually a tributary of Bird Creek, and Bird Creek is running right through here, which Bird Creek, as you know, feeds into Skiatook as well. But the Birch Creek feeds this lake, it's a small creek. Really, this lake's dependent on rainfall, very similar to other lakes in this area like Skiatook. Needs rain, or once it gets low, it kind of stays low. So for boat launches, there's actually two of them. Just because where I'm located, and probably if you're coming from Tulsa, the best one is here. There's Birch Cove public dock here. And then the other one is located over here. Both are in really good shape. They both look to have brand new docks on them. The ramps are wide. This one over here that I launched at looked to be a little bit bigger ramp. But overall, it probably sets up pretty well for tournaments with these bigger ramps and bass boats and stuff like that. So, but I was very impressed with a small lake. They had really taken care of the boat ramps and the launches and all that. It was easy to launch a boat. Okay, so for lake breakdown, overall this lake's a pretty good sized lake with mostly chunk rock banks. Has lots of standing timber in the creeks. So like this main Birch Creek that feeds the lake, that was all pretty much standing timber. Looks relatively shallow. And then, like back in here, this is all standing timber. And then a little bit in these smaller little arms, depending on which arm you go to. As you get closer to the dam, you don't get as much timber. It's a little bit more open. You get some rocky banks with some sandy banks mix. Reminds me a lot of Skiatook Lake, honestly. I'm guessing this lake clears up depending on the time of year when you're out. I was there, it had just rained, so there's a little stain, but overall pretty good shape. Kind of that Oklahoma green water you look for. The lower end by the dam, like I say, it opens up a little bit more. You have your deepest area that I could tell right out here, 40 to 50 foot in this main channel. And as you get into the mid lake, you get good depth in this area with good, channel swings, typical rock fishing lakes with, it just sets up well for cranking on a windy day on those rock banks, and lots of good transitions. And like I said, as you get in the upper end, you get a lot of timber. It gets shallower. I didn't make my way up in this area because there's so much timber. And with this lake not having any mapping, I didn't really want to spend a bunch of time to try to find areas in here. So I pretty much stuck to the main lake. I think if I went to this lake a lot, I would do probably the auto mapping to have a map for myself, and maybe work my way back in some of these areas. It looks like they have some decent channel swing banks here. As for species, this lake has largemouth, crappie, catfish, hybrids, and I think walleye, but can't say for certain on that. And for stocking report, like I said, they put hybrids in this lake. This is pretty much a hybrid lake. As you can see, dating back, I went back as far as 2017, and they've stocked hybrid every single year, and quite a few of them, 13,000 up in 2017, and stayed around that number for the most part. Small ones, 1.5 to 2 inches. Tournament data, not much data. I could find a little bit. It looks like there's both kayak and bass tournaments on this lake. I couldn't find any weights. I could just find tournament details as far as start times and stuff like that. And as for fishing area, like I said, there's no topo map on this lake, so I had to kind of, given a day, I had to fish pretty much stuff I could visually see that's set up right. And just launching here from this boat ramp, it looks to me, I don't know if They cut down a bunch of trees and stuff when they did this parking, but there's just a ton of timber, kind of right out all through here. Like more than somebody could lay down. So I don't know if it's basically just got pushed out here. I focused mainly on, for me, the wind was coming in here from the north, and this bank here, you know, it's flat here, and the water is probably about this level. This is a pic from 2018, but it was down when I was here. So I could tell that most likely, I'll show you in a second, but this creek channel swung in here, giving me a little transition here, and I fished along this whole bank, and that's actually where I got my bite. And it looked to be, it came off. It was, it looked a prettle good fish, probably close to 3, if I had to guess. I did jump over here a little bit and fish this little rocky point stuck out, and there's a little bit of here, the deeper water here with some kind of isolated stumps out here. Not as much, so like you go back and let's see, this creek here, it's just full of timber. But this one had stuff that was more isolated, and I feel like, you know, bass could sit on it and you could pick it apart. As you can see here, my hummingbird, it shows me a little bit. I'm not sure accurate it was, but it gave me a little bit of idea where things are. And then just backing off and looking at the map and just having to guess. This is kind of how I see it. This is a little bit off from what I've drawn, but my guess is for the most part, this goes right through the middle. This may not even swing as much here or here, but just given how this was a deeper cut here, I knew something turned here, and as it went back up and just coming, you know, water flowing in through here, it's naturally going to push against this bank, creating a deeper shelf. So, you know, here's my guess on some spots. You know, like I said, I focused on this spot the most, basically because the wind was pushing against it, and I knew it had some type of channel swing in this area, so I wanted to focus on this bank. I'm guessing if you're here in the spring, this is one of the biggest creeks on the lake, so I'm sure they're spawning back here. This area looked like it had a swing on it as well, so I actually fished this point, you know, leading back in here a little bit. I'm sure there's some other spots but I didn't fish, but I only had so much time to cover it. Didn't have a lot of success out there, but I did get a couple bites that led me to believe that there's some quality fishing here. But overall, I'm not gonna give this one a grade just because I don't feel like it's fair. I didn't really get to know it without it having a topo and really spending more time on it. But it was a good lake, and I think I'll be back. So thanks for watching.